Hey everyone, welcome back to another Anime Kingdom reviews. You see by the title below, this is on episode 2 and 3 of Drifters. And yes, I know, for one thing, this is actually super late, but I honestly, here's my excuse, and honestly it's the same excuse for why this is a 2-episode review instead of just 1 episode. So if you didn't know, maybe you only watch my Drifter reviews, you watched the first one and you're wondering where the hell was the second review, The reason behind that, if you didn't see my update video, was that last week, honestly, I felt like crap. I felt really sick. And throughout this week as well, I ended up not feeling too well either. Or last week, obviously. Now, it was last week that I was feeling bad. That's why episode 2 for every single of my anime ended up not having a review. And for the next week with episode 3s and all that, along those lines, it's been pretty much making the reviews 2-episode reviews. But when it came to Friday, I started to not feel that well again. Ended up going to the doctors, getting some medicine, and I am feeling a lot better now. But that is the reasons behind why this review isn't particularly late in comparison to, since it usually comes out on Friday every week, and why this is also a 2-episode review. So sorry about that. If you've been wondering where the Drifter reviews are, if you were wondering did I drop this or not, no, that is not the reason. And yeah, let's talk about pretty much how I felt about episode 2 and 3, because honestly, there's no way I'm going to drop this. These 2 episodes were literally crazy. They were awesome. Literally the intenseness, the what happened in this, the action, and the blood and gore was just full on display in this one. It was crazy. Toyohisa rushing in. Episode 2 is pretty much, obviously, we had to learn a little bit more about the world and learn that, obviously we knew that there was the elves. And now we know that there's dwarves and hobbits and all that kind of stuff, all other different subhuman species, and pretty much humans are the ones at the top, and all the other, subhumans are they're pretty much slaves and stuff. And that's why we see with the elves, they're not allowed to go to the forest, not allowed to help drifters, and they're not allowed to, make bows. And that's obviously a problem because, they need to go to the forest to hunt. With the bows, obviously, that's going to help and everything too. That's where the food and, vegetation and stuff like that they can get as well. So it's really hard for them to live. And obviously, the reason behind why those kids helped, Toyohisa is because, sure, yes, he's a drifter, and you're not supposed to help him out. Only the Octobrists are supposed to, deal with them. But, you see a dying man on the ground, a dying person on the ground, you're going to help them. You're not just going to leave them to die, So it's really messed up how the humans in this world actually treat the subhumans, like the elves and everything. The commander of them, was just slaughtering them. He was just setting them up as an example, even killing a kid. Poor father over there holding his son's, dead body in his hand. It's holy crap. But of course, Toyohisa and the rest of the crew end up rushing over once they see the smoke of the village burning and everything. And decides, Toyohisa is going to decide to help them, obviously, since they helped him when he was in his time of need, when he was going to die before. So he wants to, of course, pay that back kind of thing. And he goes there and literally just slaughters all of them like nothing. While this is happening, obviously, Nobunaga and Yoichi is pretty much burning the fields and everything. Nobunaga is pretty much considering claiming territory. That's what the leader of the Octopus is saying, that their natural instinct is claiming territory and everything. And that's why he is now pretty much burning the fields to make it so they look to them as support, since they have nothing else anymore. And that is pretty much his goal, with Yoichi pretty much there as well, killing all the other stranglers that start to run away, while Toyohisa, of course, is there slaughtering all of them. He literally, that fight, I thought it was going to be a lot more crazier, shing, 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 between him and the commander. No, it ends up, he throws his sword at him. He blocks it, thinking, is that all you got kind of thing? Nope. Here he comes, knee to the face, hits him to the ground, takes his sheath of his sword, and starts just slamming it into his eye, into his face, and just poosh, poosh, poosh. I was just holy crap, dude. That's some bloody ass shit, dude. I did not expect it to go this is not even that dark. It's pretty dark in comparison to any other things, but people have already told me in my comments that this gets a lot darker. So I can only imagine how dark these deaths end up getting, because right now it's pretty dark just seeing him, smashing this guy his head in, and then going to the elves and pretty much telling them, hey, even though they don't understand Japanese, obviously, go and kill this guy. Here, take my sword. Gives it to the, the father of the kid he killed. takes the sword. The other ones, other elves grab weapons as well and just starts. The guy's like, "Stop! I'm sorry. I'm sorry." Like, you're begging for mercy after that. You think that's gonna work after the way you're treating them? That ain't gonna happen, bro. And he just gets slaughtered right there. They're all just stabbing him and slashing him. I'm just like, damn, that's pretty dark. Holy crap. But of course, in the end, it's pretty much, yeah, they are like looking to them as their saviors and everything, and that's pretty much how it is. I'm not too sure how everything else is gonna go after. Like, obviously Nobunaga is looking to be like, a ruler once again, like he was in his time period, and he's claiming this as his territory along with Yoichi and Toyohisa. So that was the second episode. It was pretty damn intense, pretty damn crazy, and then it gets even better. Episode 3 was literally awesome. I was wondering, are we going to see any other historical figures in this? Not just from Japan, but from different time periods along the, around the world. And yes, we actually get General Scipio from the Roman Empire and Hannibal of Carthage appear on the field. Of course, they're super, they're kind of old and they're just punching each other in the face, but they end up, the Octobris is pretty much, I learned that they're on the side of the drifters and everything. They're gathering the drifters. They had like a bunch of cowboys as well. I'm not too sure who those two were. They look like cowboys and they seem pretty cool. So I can't wait to learn more about them as well. And pretty much the Octobris are using the drifters as a way to fight what we figure out is the Ends. Like, they're just like the drifters in a way. We have historical figures, like for example, one that I didn't really know the other ones, was Joan of Arc. And the thing that it kind of confused me was that these Ends, they have like powers as well. Unlike the drifters, who just seem like they're just super badass. They're just their own powers kind of thing, their own weapons and everything. The Ends, for example, Joan of Arc has the control of fire. I'm not too sure how that works or anything, if this correlates to any other reason, and why they are crazy, because they are not acting the way, she at least not acting the way that she was in, when she was alive, kind of thing. That it makes me wonder, like, what is going on with them? Are they like crazed out and everything? That's why they're like different and everything. Obviously, we find out that this whole thing is pretty much a chess game between this girl named Easy, who's pretty much like the dark side, I guess you can say, and Murasaki, who we see, we saw the guy pretty much typing and everything. He's the guy with the glasses in the hallway, and we find out it's pretty much a chess game of battle between the both of them. Easy created the Ends, while we have Murasaki in control of the drifters. So it's pretty cool to see that this whole thing is like a board game, a chess game between them grabbing historical figures from the timeline and fighting against each other in this different world. It's kind of sad, considering this world has to deal with that, has to deal with drifters and Ends, and it's pretty much they're stuck in the middle of this chess game, this battle kind of thing. And you see that the leader of the Ends is the Black King. This guy, I'm not too sure, if he's a significant hero or historical figure in our timeline, that was put here, or he's just a random guy that is in charge of the whole army. I'm not too sure, but he seems pretty badass, and he's obviously the one in charge of all the Ends as well, the ones commanding and telling them to go out. There's also another guy, I'm not too sure who he was, but he was with the Black King, but we do not know if he is good or bad, if he's a End or drifter. He had a mind of his own, so I'm not too sure if he's an End or what side is he on. He was just there, But pretty much this episode was the Black King and his army attacking the northern wall. The Octobris, along with the different this other army, is trying to defend. The army guys are like all like, we've stopped them from attacking like for years, they ain't nothing. And then yeah, they get slaughtered pretty much, not just because of the huge army the Black King has of different species with goblins and ogres and stuff like that, and damn dragons in the air, but you got the Ends with supernatural powers. We got someone that can like freeze the area. We have Joan of Arc, who's like a pyromaniac, and then we have this one guy who had like control of ghosts or something like that. I don't know who the other ones were, but they were pretty badass, and I'm like, there's no way you can fight them. Like, holy crap, they have supernatural powers. Why is that? I'm not too sure, but it was pretty crazy. But yeah, it pretty much ends with the Octobris along with the other remaining drifters escaping, trying to run away from the battle to survive, and end up fighting against the End and the Black King later on. We also do get to see a dang new drifter appear out of nowhere. A guy in a Japanese Zero come out of nowhere, flying around, starts slaughtering the dragons, obviously because he starts seeing, like, I think it was like the bombing of Tokyo, that he was imagining what was going on with all the burning buildings and everything, and that's why he started to attack all the dragons. And I'm not too sure, like, with him, along with the cowboys and their machine gun and their guns, how are they going to, be able to obviously get fuel for the plane? How are they going to be able to get ammo for them? This is a timeline where it's like swords and bows and arrows and kind of stuff like that with, different species like that. They don't have the technology that these guys have. So unlike obviously Toyohisa them and their, swords and everything, well, Nobunaga does have a gun and everything as well. How are they going to be able to create, recreate the ammo and everything? I guess they do know how to make it themselves, and they're going to be able to do that kind of thing. And, like, I guess we're going to have one plane as well, or are they going to create a massive, fleet after that he's going to be able to teach other people? I'm not too sure. But I'm definitely excited to see the next episodes, to see how everything's going to go down. We do see at the end the octopus girl that was in charge of watching over Toyohisa them. It turns out she was caught, and she's super scared of them. And she even tells them, the whole thing about the ends and all that kind of stuff, what's going on here. And they're just like, huh? Like, they don't care about that stuff. They don't even, like, you're lying. You're making up a story kind of thing. So it should be interesting to see if they're going to be able to rope them into helping them over their own, territorial needs of them wanting to claim over. Because it seems like the Cowboys are in, Scipio and Hannibal are in with Octopus. It'll be determined on how the rest of Toyohisa and his group will, if they will join in as well, and if the guy in the Zero will also come down to help as well. Because they kind of just left him flying around out there. I'm not too sure how much fuel he has, if he's ever going to get shot down or anything. But it should definitely be an interesting and crazy episode to see, to see the next one. I'm definitely excited. I'm definitely going to continue watching this. Definitely happy with how episode 2 and 3 went. Episode 1, I thought it was pretty crazy. But, here and there are the weird comedic kind of they just throw in this comedy, which just feels out of nowhere. Though someone did tell me that's just normally how it is. So it's just kind of getting used to that. And it did happen a little bit in these ones as well. But I'm kind of getting used to it. It's okay. I like the story so far. I love the historical figures that are being thrown in here. I love it's like a chess game going on. I love seeing different time periods of like a Zero. We have cowboys. We have, Roman generals. And then we have like Japanese, samurai and stuff like that as well. It's pretty damn crazy, and I cannot wait to see what's going to happen in the next ones. But yeah, that's all I got to say, guys. Hope you enjoyed this Anime Kingdom review. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. If there's anything I missed and you want to talk about, comment below as well. And if you did enjoy it, give a like. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe for more content. And yeah, that's all I got to say, guys. So until next time, see ya.